Hello dear students, so we'll continue with module 4. So this is the last video lecture for module 4. Here we are going to discuss the last topic, decision making. So what is decision making? As far as an organization is concerned, or as far as a manager is concerned, the most dangerous and the difficult task in an organization is decision making. So decision making actually helps a manager as well as business professional to solve various issues existing in the organization by examining alternative choices and deciding the best route to take. Actually, decision making is a step-by-step procedure in which the manager chooses an efficient way to make a thoughtful and informed decision which have a positive impact on the organization goal. Now let us see the steps in decision making. The first step in decision making is defining and analyzing the problem. It is nothing but it is a detailed study of the problem existing in the organization which helps the manager to gain an insight of the problem. Next is developing alternative solution. Once we analyze the problem, the next step is to find out feasible alternatives to such problem. Next is evaluation of alternative solution. Once we found out the alternative solution, the next step is evaluate the alternate solution one by one so that we can choose the best among the solution. So obviously the next step is selecting the best solution. Next step is implementing the decision. See, once we have found out the best solution, the next step is to convert the solution to efficient action or to effective action. So once we have converted the solution into action, next step is we have to constantly monitor all the happenings in the organization. That is what is called follow-up. So these are the 6 major steps involved in decision making. Now let us see what is the meaning of evaluation of alternatives, why we require evaluation of alternatives. So evaluation of alternative is required so as to find out the best possible solution for implementation. So basically we use 2 methods for evaluation. The first method is quantitative factors and second method is qualitative factor analysis. So what is quantitative factor? Quantitative factors are the factors that can be evaluated numerically or quantitatively, whereas qualitative factors are the factors which cannot be measured numerically. That is, for example, technological change, cost of labor quality, etc. So these are some of the factors which cannot be measured numerically. So they are called qualitative factors. So on the basis of these 2 factors, normally we do evaluation of alternatives. Next, let us see what are the techniques used for evaluation of alternatives. 2 techniques are used. First technique is called marginal analysis and the second technique is called cost-effective analysis. So what is marginal analysis? Marginal analysis is nothing but it is a increase in the total value of an organization due to an additional unit. So basically we have heard of marginal cost, marginal revenue, etc. So marginal revenue is nothing but it is a change in the total revenue of the organization due to an additional unit in an organization. And marginal cost is nothing but increase in the cost due to an additional unit. Similarly, we have cost-effective analysis or cost-benefit analysis, in short we call CBA, and which is nothing but it is a ratio of benefit to cost involved is calculated. Always the best alternative solution is maximum benefit at minimum cost. Next is how do we select from alternatives? What are the techniques used for selecting from alternatives? Or what are the tools which are used to select from alternatives? So the basic 3 tools are being used. The first tool is experience, the second one is experimentation, and the third one is research and analysis. So what is experience? Experience is a basic tool which helps in the judgment of alternative solution. Normally we rely on the past experience and we find out an alternative solution. Experimentation is nothing but it is trying each and every alternative solution so as to get the best result. It is just a trial and error method. Next is research and analysis. It is the most basic tool which helps us to select from alternatives, which is nothing but it is we are searching for a relationship between the various constraints and various factors that affects the achievement of a goal. Next, let us see the type of decisions. There are basically 2 types of decisions. The first one is programmed decision and the second one is unprogrammed decision. We'll have a comparative study later. So first of all, let us see what is a program decision, or in which level the program decision is being implemented. See, normally program decision is implemented in lower level of organization, and it is basically a structured decision, whereas unprogrammed or non-programmed decisions is unstructured and normally being decided by the top level management. Now let us see the comparative study of programmed and non-programmed decision. So, in program decision, let us see the type of problem inquired. The type of problem encountered in program decision is a repetitive problem, routine, normally frequent, and decisions are usually made according to certain specific procedures in program decisions. Whereas in non-program decision, it is novel, complex, difficult, infrequent, and decisions require original thinking. So as I told you, in program decisions, it is completely, or it is rigid and is based on policies and rules, whereas non-program decisions require creativity, intuition, tolerance for ambiguity, etc. And examples for program decision is, for example, in the case of healthcare, there is a structured procedure for admitting patient. For example, if we consider the case of a business firm, there is a periodic records of inventory. In the case of university, we say necessary GPA for good academic standing. All those are examples for programming division. Whereas if we go for non-program decision, for example, in university or in education institution, construction of a new classroom or purchase of a new equipment in healthcare, something like that. So all those comes under non-program decision. Now let us see the limitations in decision making. There are many limitations in decision making. The first one is it is time consuming. As we know that the manager has to take opinion from many of his subordinates, and he has to study the merits and demerits of all the alternative solutions, and then finally he has to decide. So that way it is time consuming. Next is compromise decision. Different opinions will come from different people. So finally, if we go for implementation of all those opinions, the result will be bad. Next is biased decision. There is a chance of favoritism. So manager, there is a chance that manager can take decision which is beneficial to some of his persons. Next is limited analysis. Due to inexperience and lack of expertise, the alternative solution selected may not be the best one. So that results in a bad decision. Next is uncontrollable environmental factors. Normally the environmental factors are very much dynamic. That is, even the political factors, technological factors, everything changing day by day. So that way also decisions can turn to be bad. And definitely the future is uncertain, so that can also lead to bad decision. Now let us discuss some of the techniques used for non-programmed decision in management. As we have already discussed, non-programmed decisions are unstructured. They are used for non-repetitive type of task, and it is purely based on subjective judgment, and it has been executed by the top level of management. So let us discuss some of the techniques which is used in non-programmed decision making. The first one is brainstorming technique. Next we have Delphi technique. Then we have nominal group technique, quality circles, and heuristic techniques. So let us discuss this one by one. So what is brainstorming? Brainstorming is nothing but it is a technique which is used to find out creative solutions from many people sitting together, 5 to 6 people sitting together. So there will be a leader for this particular group, and this leader will tells them the problem, and he will take all the possible ideas to solve this problem. All the ideas will be discussed, analyzed, and finally the best idea will be selected. So that is what is called brainstorm. Next we have Delphi method. Delphi method is a method similar to that of brainstorming. Only thing is that the group members do not meet face to face. They must be sitting in different part of the country or different part of the world, and they will be interacting with the help of some new technological methods like video conferencing, like that. So Delphi techniques also gives us a very good solution because the group members are not at all influenced by one another, and the problems will be solved quickly because it is employing the newest technology. Next we have nominal group technique. In nominal group technique, the group members will think independently, and this technique will not allow an interaction among the group members at an early stage, and only after taking ideas from all people, then they will be allowed to have a group interaction. Next is Quality circles. So quality circle is nothing but it is a small group of employees from the same department, and they meet voluntarily in order to identify, analyze and solve issues about their work. Next is heuristic technique. Heuristic technique is a technique in which the decisions are completely based on experience, rule of thumb, common sense, etc. For example, companies normally sell their product on installment basis because they knew that, from the experience they knew that consumers prefer paying price in installments rather than in a lump amount of sum. Now the last topic is creative process. So what is a creative process? Creativity is nothing but it is the ability and power to develop something new. For example, a new product, a new service, or a different way of doing things. So that way we call it as an innovation. Now let us see the steps in creative process. The different steps in creative process are: the first one is unconscious scanning. Unconscious scanning is the first phase in creative process, and it is nothing but it is having just a vague idea of what to be done. It is something beyond consciousness. Next is intuition. Intuition is something which is linking the unconscious mind with the conscious mind. That is, it is a thinking phase where people find new combinations and integrate different ideas for a new product. Next is insight. Insight is the third phase of this creative process, and it is nothing but it comes as a result of hard work. Next is logical formulation, which is a final phase in the creative process. It is nothing but testing every product through trial and error, or testing every product through experimentation. So these are the steps involved in creative process, thus we finish our module 4. Thank you.